Nowadays people, they think that without without a mobile phone, without electricity, without internet, without computer, we cannot be happy. This is what people think, and they think this is a must, this is the necessity of the day, they think. But here we are showing that no, without such things also, you can live a very peaceful and a very happy life basically. What makes us really happy is when we satisfy the soul by serving God. When we try to forget Lord and try to enjoy separately, that leads only to frustration. And that is what we see that is happening in the society today. Even though you have all the facilities, you have restaurants, you have shopping malls, you have cinema theaters, everything you have. But still people are not happy. Why? Because they are not serving God, they have forgotten God. But over here, we don't have such things, but still people are happy because they are engaged in the service of God. Automatically they become happy because that is the nature of the soul. Like the nature of fish is to be in the water. You remove the fish from the water and give it all facilities. It cannot be satisfied, right? So similarly, the soul, without serving God, he cannot be happy. No matter how much ever money you may have, how much ever facilities you may have, you can never be happy. But without these things also, if you are engaged in the service of God, automatically you can be happy. You can be completely satisfied basically.
আমি এখন আছি এখানকার এক প্রভুজি যার নাম নিতাই নিমাই দাস প্রভুজি। ওনার সঙ্গে আমি এখন কথা বলে জেনে নেব এইখানকার যে অ্যাক্টিভিটিস সেগুলো কি কি, কিভাবে এখানকার অর্গানাইজেশন চলে, এখানকার এডুকেশন সিস্টেম কি, আর এই ধরনের বিষয় বৃত্তান্ত যতটুকু সম্ভব ইন ব্রিফ জানার চেষ্টা করব। আসুন প্রভুজির সঙ্গে কথা বলে সেই সম্পর্কে আমরা বোঝার চেষ্টা করি। প্রভুজি, হরে কৃষ্ণ।
হরে কৃষ্ণ।
Prabhuji, we are here to understand about you first of all, means what you were before and how you got convinced to come to this form of life and so on.
Yeah, basically I am from Hyderabad and I was studying in Hyderabad. I was doing my, at the age of 18, I just started my BTech first year. And at that time, I came in contact with ISKCON. My parents just took me to ISKCON temple in Hyderabad. And I liked the atmosphere there. I liked the kirtan, the aarti. They have, they dance during the aarti. So I liked it a lot. And I started attending regular youth programs over there, which they had, like classes on Bhagavad Gita, and started doing service in the temple during the festivals and all. So like that, from 2003 to 2010, I was a congregational member of ISKCON Hyderabad. And 2007, I finished my BTech and I worked for 3 years in an IT company. And then in 2010, I joined full-time in ISKCON because anyway, there are so many IT engineers, so many software engineers all over the world. There's no shortage of that, but there's a severe shortage of people who can give these teachings of Bhagavad Gita to the world. And I benefited a lot from the teaching of Bhagavad Gita in my personal life. And so then I thought, okay, if this has helped me so much, then it can help others also a lot. If I can teach this, if I can give these teachings to others, then it will help them also a lot. And it is very much required in today's world, is very much required. These teachings of Bhagavad Gita, they are very much required. So therefore, I decided to resign and join as a full-time member in ISKCON temple.
You're a devotee.
You're a devotee.
It is not a job for.
No.
It's not a job.
It's not a job. It's a completely voluntary thing.
Correct. Yeah. So, Prabhuji, here when I was moving around, I have seen there is a farming. So you said it is a Vedic farming. What is Vedic farming and how different it is than Vedic farming and today's way of farming, and how it will benefit to the society as far as Vedic farming is concerned?
Basically, Vedic farming is natural farming. Natural farming where we are not using any kind of chemicals for fertilizers or for pesticide also. We are using natural things like cow dung and cow urine, and we are using Jivamrita, which is made with a mixture of using cow dung and cow urine and mud and few things like that. So it gives natural boost to the crops. it is very healthy. Basically, you're not using any urea or potassium or DP. This thing, so many things are using nowadays for farming. Thinking that the crop will increase, the produce will increase. But even with this Jivamrita and Ghana Jivamrita, the crop produces increased. And there are no harmful effects. What is
Jivamrita and Dhana Jivamrita?
Jivamrita is this mixture of cow dung, cow urine, mud, and jaggery and few other things like that.
Okay. There is a particular ratio of
these things, and then that is put as a fertilizer for the crops.
Supposing if somebody wants to come and learn this from outside,
yes,
you do teach them?
Yes. We have our devotees who are farming over here. They can teach. They can teach you how to make all these things. And for pesticides, we use natural method, that is, we use this neem leaves, sitafal leaves, and some few these kind of leaves which are bitter in taste. So we put that in water, ferment that water, and then spray it on the crops. So the insects, because it is bitter, they don't eat that crop. They just go away from there. They go to some other place. They go to some other crop. So we are not killing the insects. We are not killing them, but we are saving our crops also. Whereas this chemical pesticide, you are killing the insect over
Okay. And Prabhuji, supposing if somebody wants to come and stay here and to learn your way of farming, way of building the house and all those things, will you allow or will you teach them really take the learnings from here and go back and do it at your own society?
Yeah, if someone wants to come and learn, they are welcome. They can come and stay here, spend some time. We are building our guest house. It will take around 2 months for it to complete. So if someone is interested, they can come and stay here. But the main goal of us organizing this Kurmagram is to lead a spiritual life, basically. Spiritual life, and for to save time. Basically, to save time for spiritual activities. Because in the cities and all, you can see, of course, the artificial living is there, and so many health hazards and all these things are there. And so much stress is there because you have to work around 15-16 hours per day in any job, any given job. You have to work so hard, and always your stress is there that your job will stay or it will go. You'll be removed from your job, and so many things. So much stress is there always. You always have to meet your targets and all these things, right? And because of that, you're not able to focus so much on your spiritual life, which is very, very important actually for a happy life. And so over here, basic necessities, whatever basic necessities of food, clothing and housing is there, we are fulfilling it in a very simple manner, which is saving us a lot of time, which will help us to focus on our spiritual life. Basically because we are not this body. The Bhagavad Gita explains that we are not this body, we are the soul within the body. And the soul, until that soul is present within the body is alive. Once the soul leaves the body is dead. It has no value. So no matter how much you work hard for the body, आप कितना भी कीजिए शरीर के लिए, वो तो एक ना दिन मर जाएगा, शरीर मर जाएगा. So what is the point of working so hard for the body? So just to keep the body and soul together, whatever minimum amount of work is required, like some farming or some making of cloth or something, so that we do minimum work, maybe 7 to 8 hours per day. That's it. Remaining amount of time we are engaged in the service of the Lord, and whatever work we are doing is also in service of the Lord. Like farming, whatever produce we get from the farming, we are offering it to the Lord and accept it as prasadam.
Then, what is the difference between Vedic way of living and modern way of living? Is this the same about what you were saying, like devote yourself?
Correct. Vedic way of living is to understand that this body is temporary. This body is temporary, whereas the soul is eternal. It is permanent, right? So an intelligent person, he thinks about he focuses on about understanding the soul and about our relationship with God. Because that is eternal. Whereas the other relationships that we have with this body, maybe our wife, our brother, our parents, these are temporary. They get finished along with the body, right? So therefore, an intelligent person, he tries to focus on that relationship which is eternal. That is a relationship with God. So therefore, the Vedic living is where your whole life is based on satisfying the Lord, on pleasing the Lord, basically. Because that is how you can automatically become happy. Like for example, you want to water a tree, where do you water? You water at the roots of the tree, right? You don't water each and every branch and every leaf. No, just water the roots. Automatically the water is supplied to the whole tree. So similarly, God, Krishna, He is the roots of everything. He's the root of everything. So when you satisfy the Lord, when you please the Lord, then you automatically become satisfied. You automatically become pleased, and everyone gets pleased actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And modern living is just basically just living for yourself, living for your own selfish goals. That's all.
Prabhuji, here you also have a school, Vedic school.
Yes.
Vedic way of study.
Education.
Vedic way of
Gurukul education.
Gurukul education.
Yes.
So how different is Gurukul education than the modern education? Does this Gurukul education also complements the modern education? Suppose a student studying here or taking Gurukul education, will he be able to go out and get in the normal regular way of life? So how different it is, or how it complements, or vice versa both?
So basically the Gurukul education system is based again on spiritual values and based on the Vedic scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Ramayana, Mahabharata. And whereas the modern education system is basically based on speculation. Speculation means some ordinary person, he has some ideas, and based on those ideas, they are teaching the children. Okay. And the goal of Vedic education system, the Gurukul education system, is to train a person to learn how to serve God, basically. In whatever activities he does, in whatever function he performs, he is trained in the consciousness of serving God and pleasing God. Whereas the modern education system is completely different, is completely demonic basically. The goal is how I can be happy, no matter what happens to others. सब भाड़ में जाओ, कोई परवाह नहीं है, मैं अच्छा रहना चाहिए, I have to be on the top.
But इधर से पढ़ाई करने के बाद तो वो अगर रेगुलर मोड ऑफ स्टडीज में जाना चाहता है तो जा सकता है, और
here we are not giving them any certificate courses.
Okay.
Basically over here the education system is that we are teaching them languages, Hindi, Sanskrit, Telugu, English, and basic mathematics, arithmetics, which is required for life. And then we teach them the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and we teach them farming, we teach them making cloth, we teach them construction, we teach them cooking, we teach them carpentry, we teach them everything. Basically whatever is required for life, for them to live independently, without having to depend on anyone else, without having to work for anyone else. We are training in that mode of life. We are training them in that mode of life. And on the basis of Varnashrama, means basically Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So we identify the character of the boy, we identify the qualities of the boy, and we train them accordingly. If some student is very much interested in learning the scriptures, in understanding the philosophy, and in preaching that to others, in teaching that to others, then we train him as a Brahmana, basically. So here the concept of that someone born in a Brahmin family is automatically a Brahmin, it doesn't apply over here. Someone with that qualities, because in Bhagavad Gita Krishna is saying, Chaturvarnya Maya Shishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasa, that based on the guna and karma of the person, based on the qualities and the work of the person, his varna is decided. Whether a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra, that depends on his qualities and on the kind of work he does. So, as I said, if some boy is very much interested in learning the scriptures and the philosophy, we train him as a Brahmana. And then when he grows up, he does that function, he performs that function of a Brahmana in the society. He teaches the scriptures to others and he guides others on the basis of the scriptures. Okay. And whereas if some student is very courageous, is very bold, and he likes to protect others, or he's interested in the welfare of others and he can manage things well, then we train him as a Kshatriya. If someone is interested very much in farming and taking care of cows, then we train him as Vaishya. So in this way, their occupation is already set. What they have to do in life is already set over here. So they don't have to worry about, finishing their education, getting some degree, getting some job and all. So over here, this is the concept that when they grow up, they'll stay here and they'll be satisfied over here. Because they can see very well that the outside life is really hellish life, basically. With all the pollution, with all the stress, with all the anxiety. So I don't think that these boys would be really interested to go for that mode of life after having lived such a peaceful and a happy life over here. I don't think they would be very much interested in going for that kind of a life.
Prabhuji, I want to understand, if a person come here from some other place and want to stay with you for 1 day or 2 days. So what he will learn from here, and what will be end of the day, what will be his takeaway from here, and whether there will be anything like, which he can go back and contribute to the society.
Yeah, our guest house is getting ready. It will be ready within a span of 2 months. And if anyone wants to come and stay here, they can come and stay here for a few days. And basically it will be they'll have a spiritual experience by staying here in a natural setup. So we have like morning temple program. We have starting from morning 4:30. We have Mangal Aarti, and then we have the mantra meditation where we chant the holy names of the Lord: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And we have spiritual classes on Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. They'll be attending those classes. And whatever food we are providing here is again prasadam of the Lord, is offered to the Lord. So they'll be given an opportunity to engage in some physical service over here, like they can be engaged in some farming or some cleaning or some like the weaving of cloth and all. They'll be engaged in that kind of activity over here. So basically they can experience a complete spiritual vibration over here. They can learn the spiritual techniques, how they can serve the Lord and how they can be really happy in life. Because you see, nowadays people, they think that without without a mobile phone, without electricity, without internet, without computer, we cannot be happy. This is what people think, and they think this is a must, this is the necessity of the day, they think. But here we are showing that no, without such things also you can live a very peaceful and a very happy life basically. Whereas you can see outside people have all these things but still they are not happy, they are not peaceful, right? So over here we are living without all these things. We are not even using electricity, we are not using gas, we are not using phones. I mean, phones just very limitedly we are using for only for management purposes, but otherwise no, not everyone has a phone over here. And so without these things also we are living very happily basically. So what you can understand by coming over here is that just taking good care of the body or giving all the facilities for the body will not make us happy. What makes us really happy is when we satisfy the soul by serving God. Like, for example, because in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Mamai Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. That every living entity, every soul is my part and parcel. Every soul is my part, basically. So like for example, this hand is a part of this body. Okay. Now the duty of this hand is to serve the body. Right? Like for example, something comes to eat, like for a laddu, if there's a laddu. So the hand, what it has to do, it has to take the laddu and put it in the mouth. Right? So if the hand thinks that every time the mouth is tasting the laddu, I am not getting to taste the laddu, this time I will eat the laddu. So he will try to eat the laddu. What will happen? It will get frustrated. It won't get any taste. It won't get anything. But if it puts the laddu in the mouth, it goes to the stomach, gets digested, and automatically the energy is supplied to the hand. Right? So similarly, we being a part of God, when we try to enjoy separately from the Lord, when we try to forget Lord and try to enjoy separately, that leads only to frustration. And that is what we see that is happening in the society today. Even though you have all the facilities, you have restaurants, you have shopping malls, you have cinema theaters, everything you have, but still people are not happy. Why? Because they are not serving God, they have forgotten God. But over here we don't have such things, but still people are happy because they are engaged in the service of God. Automatically they become happy because that is the nature of the soul. Like the nature of fish is to be in the water. You remove the fish from the water and give it all facilities. It cannot be satisfied, right? So similarly, the soul, without serving God, he cannot be happy. No matter how much ever money you may have, how much ever facilities you may have, you can never be happy. But without these things also, if you are engaged in the service of God, automatically you can be happy. You can be completely satisfied, basically. So that is the mode of living that we are teaching over here to people. That you don't need all these things, artificial things. And moreover, all these things, to produce all these artificial things, we are destroying the environment so much. Isn't it? So much of air pollution and water pollution, food pollution is all happening just to satisfy our senses. Just for our sense gratification, we are doing all these things and we are polluting the whole environment. And people are not happy also. Okay, let us say that you're having all these things and you're happy. No, but that's not happening, right? You're suffering and you're making the future also more horrible actually. For the future generations also, you are making it more horrible situation, right? So over here, what we are teaching is you can live a peaceful and a very safe life over here without all this pollution and without all the stress and anxiety, and still you can be happy, you know. So that is the goal over here, that real happiness, to show people where real happiness lies. Where people are searching for happiness, but they don't know in which direction to search for that happiness. You see, everyone is searching for happiness. That's why they're watching movies. That's why they're going to clubs and all these things. Why? Because they were searching for where is happiness, where is happiness. But they don't know where is happiness available actually. So happiness lies in serving the Lord. You know, so that is what we are showing over here. But without all these things also, we can be happy just by simply serving the Lord. So that is the secret behind a happy life, you know. So that, which is based on Bhagavad Gita. So that we are teaching over here. So if anyone who comes and visits this place, so he can experience these things. That, you know, how to live a simple life, but have a high thinking, you know, simple living, high thinking basically. And this is our concept, simple living, high thinking. That life should be simple. Whatever is required for the body, minimum to keep the body and soul together. We do that much of work. Remaining time, engage in the service of God. And that work also that we do it as a service to God.
But what do you mean by simple living and high thinking? What is about high thinking? Simple living, I understood.
Okay. High thinking is that, yes, that to understand. You see, high thinking, I'll tell you. You see, in the Vedanta Sutra, the first shloka or the first sutra of the Vedanta Sutra is Athato Brahma Jignasa. That now is the time for you to inquire about the absolute truth. Basically, to understand, you have to, now is the time you have this human form of life. You are a human body now. You are in human body. And now is the right time for you to understand who you are, where have you come from, who is God, what is your relationship with God, why is there so much suffering in this world, and what is the solution for all these sufferings, what is the solution for all these problems of life. These are the things that we need to understand after achieving this human form of life. Because in other forms of life, like in an animal form of life or a tree form of life, this kind of thinking is not possible. It is not possible to ask such kind of questions, right? But only after getting the human form, we have the ability to ask such questions. That who am I, where am I coming from, who is God, what is my relationship with God, and why so much suffering, what is the solution for all these sufferings. Whereas the other living beings, whereas the animals and other insects or whatever, birds, all they can think about is eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Right? How to eat, how to sleep, how to mate, how to defend. And if we also do the same thing in our life, just eat, sleep, defend and mate. And you can see actually everyone in the world is actually, their whole focus is only on these four activities. Whatever economic development we have done, whatever scientific advancement we have made is just centered around these four activities of eating, sleeping, mating and defending. You see, so then how are we better than the animals? Okay, we may be doing all these things in a very polished manner, in a very sophisticated way, but still this is the basic activity the same as the animals are doing. So therefore, dharmena hina pashubhi samana. If we don't inquire about dharma, if we don't understand these points, who are we, where are we coming from, who is God, what's our relationship, then we are actually like animals. Pashubhi samana, we are like animals basically. So therefore, this human life is meant for basically to understand who are we. That we are not the body, we are the soul. We are something about this body, we are something beyond this body, that is the soul. So now what is the function of the soul? The function of the soul is to serve God. So then we engage in that kind of activity, to engage in the service of the Lord. So that is high thinking basically. You know, that is the high thinking part. So simple living, okay, yeah, this body is there. Practically we have to sustain this body. We have to take care of this body. So, okay, for that what we need to do, we do that minimum thing. Whatever minimum thing is required to keep the body and soul together, we do that. But the focus is always to understand our relationship with God. So to understand relationship with God, yes, we read the scriptures, we read Bhagavad Gita, we read Bhagavatam, and when we live according to those principles. So, and then when you live according to those principles, then naturally you'll be happy. Because you're not harming anyone else. Now you see, you're living in the city, okay, but you're harming so many other living entities by, you're traveling by car, you're traveling by vehicles, you're creating so much air pollution, you're causing harm to others, basically. For your own enjoyment, for fulfilling your needs, you're causing harm to others. But this kind of life, you're living a simple life and without causing any harm to others. You see? Or very minimum harm. Right?
I got your point.
Yes. So here your needs are being fulfilled in a very simple manner without causing much harm to others, as well as your thought process is on a higher platform, not just on eating, sleeping, mating and defending. That is the animal platform. No. it's a higher platform where you're trying to understand that who are we, where are we coming from, who is God, what's our relationship with God, and the suffering. Why are we suffering? Because we have forgotten God. Basically, like I told you, this hand, if it is cut off, there is no value to the hand. Its value is there only till it is attached to the hand, to the body. Similarly, we are having value only till the time we are attached to God. Otherwise, there is no value to us. So that is the main concept over here.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks for your precious time, and you enlighten us about Vedic living, way of living of life. I will expect that people will definitely come here and experience the way of life, how our ancestors back in probably about 200, 300 years back, we were having our life this way, and even today also they are following the same footstep. And I experience things here. There is no fan, but still I don't find it is hot here. So all those things added to our life, added to our experience rather. So I wish my viewers should come here. If you are coming to Andhra Pradesh, especially in Srikakulam, please visit to this place. It is Kurmagram, and Prabhuji's number, if you allow, you can directly talk to Prabhuji. Prabhuji speaks very good Hindi, Telugu and English. So you can directly call Prabhuji and come here and understand the way of Vedic studies, Vedic livings and all those things. So thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hopefully we'll meet again.